Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the 1953 horror comedy classic, Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I know this was a long title. When this is at the height of when this movie came out, there was also at the height of Abbott Costello's career, which spanned throughout the 40s into the mid 50s, and this was also a series of movies that Abbott Costello did where they meet one of the Universal Monster movies. Of course, the most famous one was a movie I think I previously reviewed, which was Abbott Costello meets Frankenstein, which they had the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Frankenstein monster in it. And also they had one with the Mummy as well. But it was also but Abbott Costello meets the Mummy, that's one of the I think it was like the next to last movie that they did. Well, Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And Dr. Jekyll was played by Boris Karloff, by the way. This is one of two movies that Boris Karloff did with Abbott Costello. The other one is Abbott Costello Meet the Killer, Boris Karloff. That's the other film. Abbott Costello film that Boris Karloff did with Abbott Costello. Well, Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It brings up the whole Jekyll and Hyde story, which they already done two movies on the way, which they already reviewed a year ago, for Halloween. This time, the monster was already running around London, and Abbott Costello played two Americans who got transferred to study police techniques in Scotland Yard. And in Scotland Yard, they had enough of their stupid, antics. So the police chief kicks him out of Scotland, kicks him out of Scotland Yard. And so the two of them try to get back to Scotland Yard's good graces. They said, "Oh, let's see if we could find the monster, capture the monster, and then maybe we can get back on, the police force out here." So Costello goes, I don't know, let's see if we get some kind of push snatcher or something. And he said, no, it's gotta be a big case. And Bud Abbott's going, oh, we gotta have a big case, and the monster is a big case. Mind you, they don't call the monster Mr. Hyde. The whole movie, they don't call him Mr. Hyde through the whole movie. But I should also mention that Boris Karloff does not play both parts. Unlike in the previous movies, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde films back in the 30s and the 40s, Spencer Tracy, in the most recent version, played both parts. Same thing with Frederick March, he also played both parts. But in this movie, because of Boris Karloff's age, he was like 66 years old when they did this movie. So he was like too old to do all the stunt work. Because of his age, and he has limitation. He doesn't have the the ability to do all the physical stuff. So they decided to hire a stuntman with a mask on, so he can't really tell that it was not Boris Karloff, because they did a pretty good job in explaining the fact that it was not Boris Karloff playing Mr. Hyde part. But he did play Dr. Jekyll, and he played like a real sophisticated gentleman type, and it's got into real crazy Abbott Costello type comedy in this film while they're tracking down the monster. And of course, at one point, Lou Costello finds Dr. Jekyll's secret lab in his house, and he drinks this stuff and he turns into a mouse, or at least his head. He had like this real mouse head mask on, and people think and the gloves look like a transferred into a mouse, and that was really good. So were you a man or a mouse? I said, I'm a mouse. I said, look at me, I'm a mouse. And then they go back trying to find the secret lab. They couldn't find the lab at first, and then eventually the cops find out, and the guy who was a reporter for the I guess the London Times, I guess, because it's supposed to be in London. Found the lab and believed Abbott and Costello's story that there is an actual lab, and Dr. Jekyll goes into this crazy experiments and stuff, and then they find out that they actually come to believe that Dr. Jekyll was actually the monster, because there was at one point when they actually captured the monster in a cage. When Abbott and Costello does, plus this reporter, they capture the monster, and while he's in the cell, and when one of them goes against the cops, he transforms back into Dr. Jekyll. So they think, oh, they captured Dr. Jekyll, not the monster. That type of thing that would happen only in a horror film. But long story short, they do find out that he was the monster, and what happened was that Dr. Jekyll has this ward played by a woman, and Dr. Jekyll was getting jealous that she was falling in love with the reporter. So what he decided to do was to make the report. Dr. Jekyll wanted to make the reporter look like him, or the monster. So he would get framed, or maybe get hung, but by Scotland Yard, and he gets off scot-free. But meanwhile, inadvertently, Costello gets injected with that Dr. Hyde formula, and he gets transformed into the monster. So now you have two monsters they're looking for. One is actually innocent, and Costello, and the other one is Dr. Jekyll. And you have the crazy, which one is the real, monster type thing? When was the real monster? And then of course Costello gets transformed back to his normal self, and Dr. Jekyll dies after falling out of a window. So it was determined that of course Dr. Jekyll was actually the real monster. And the real funny part, at least one of these horror films, or horror comedy films that Abbott Costello does, it worked well with when they met Frankenstein, and the joke was with the Vincent Price as the Invisible Man. Well, you just say the Vincent Price's voice, it's the Invisible Man, and you have. Let me introduce myself in the Invisible Man. Well, in Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The joke was that when Costello was brought into the police station, as he was the monster, he was buying everybody. Anytime somebody's trying to handcuff him or they're trying to restrain him, he bit all the officers that were trying to restrain him, and because he bit them, the formula, or the Hyde formula, went towards them. And so what happened was I got something on my face here. They all got transferred into monsters. So you have 5 cops as monsters. So now the 5 cop monsters, Hyde monsters, were chasing Abbott Costello out of the precinct, and that's how this movie ends. It's gonna end on a joke because all the horror that happens in this movie. I mean, as a movie itself, it's not a bad movie. Of course, with one of the Abbott Costello horror comedy films, the best one is the Frankenstein one. That's the best one. But this one is not half bad. It's not too bad at all, and it's that's what they did. Like I said, they made another horror film where they meet the mummy, and hopefully someday they may put that movie, like Sven Gouley might show that movie, and so people could see that particular film. But of course, Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This one is not a bad movie either. So that's my review of the movie Abbott Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video onto your Facebook pages, and check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com. That's home WDY, and C.com is the homepage of Rowdy Reviewer Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.